In today's world, we often focus on strengthening our bodies, building physical endurance, or enhancing our skills to achieve success. But how often do we think about the strength of our mind? The truth is, just like physical habits can weaken our bodies, certain mental habits can weaken our minds. According to Buddhism, the mind is the source of our experiences, both joy and suffering. Therefore, it's essential to identify and eliminate the habits that drain our mental strength. Today, we'll explore the 10 habits that weaken your mind and how Buddhist teachings can guide you to overcome them for a more resilient and peaceful state of mind. The mind, in Buddhism, is considered the seat of all experiences, emotions, and perceptions. It is likened to a garden. If left untended, weeds of negative habits and thoughts can take over, choking out the growth of positive qualities like compassion, wisdom, and equanimity. Just as a garden requires consistent care to flourish, so does the mind. We must be aware of the habits we nurture, as they determine whether our mental state will be one of peace or turbulence. Through awareness and mindful practice, Buddhism offers a path to cultivating a strong, clear, and balanced mind that is capable of navigating life's challenges with grace. Moreover, in a society that emphasizes outward achievements and external validation, we often neglect the importance of inner work. The pursuit of external success, whether through career advancement, financial gain, or social approval, can sometimes overshadow the need to cultivate inner stability. However, the Buddha taught that true strength and happiness come from within, and without a strong foundation in our own minds, external success becomes fragile and fleeting. By focusing on developing mental habits that foster resilience, clarity, and compassion, we build an unshakable foundation that supports not only our personal well-being, but also our ability to connect and serve others meaningfully. Finally, the concept of mental strength in Buddhism is not about suppressing emotions or becoming invulnerable. It's about developing the wisdom and clarity to respond to emotions skillfully. Mental strength involves recognizing the transient nature of emotions and thoughts, understanding that they are not the essence of who we are, but temporary states that come and go. By practicing mindfulness and self-awareness, we create a spaciousness within the mind that allows us to observe emotions without becoming overwhelmed by them. This practice enables us to transform reactive patterns into mindful responses, helping us lead a life of greater balance and tranquility. The first habit that weakens your mind is clinging to attachments. In Buddhism, attachment is seen as a root cause of suffering. We often attach ourselves to people, material possessions, or even our own ideas and beliefs. But when these things inevitably change or disappear, we experience pain and distress. By constantly clinging to what we want or fear losing, we create a state of dependency, weakening our mental resilience. The Buddha taught the principle of non-attachment, learning to appreciate things without becoming attached to them. By practicing detachment, you free your mind from dependency, creating a space where you can remain calm and composed regardless of life's fluctuations. Attachment often leads to fear of losing what we value, whether it's a relationship, a job, or a sense of identity. This fear can consume our thoughts, making us anxious and stressed about potential outcomes we cannot control. It clouds our judgment, preventing us from living fully in the present moment. Buddhist wisdom encourages us to recognize this fear and let go of it by understanding the impermanent nature of everything around us. When we release the need to control outcomes and instead embrace the flow of life, we cultivate a stronger, more adaptable mind, capable of weathering any change or loss with equanimity. Additionally, attachment limits our perspective and narrows our experience of life. When we cling too tightly to one outcome or belief, we close ourselves off to other possibilities and opportunities for growth. it becomes difficult to adapt to new circumstances or learn from different viewpoints. The Buddha taught that a flexible mind is a strong mind, one that can flow like water, adjusting to life's changing currents without becoming rigid or stuck. By releasing attachment, we open ourselves to the richness of life, allowing us to experience joy and fulfillment that isn't tied to specific conditions or possessions. Furthermore, attachment often leads to comparison and jealousy. When we attach our happiness to external things, we begin to measure our self-worth against others who have what we want. This creates a cycle of dissatisfaction and insecurity, as we are constantly comparing ourselves to an ever-changing external standard. Buddhist teachings guide us to look inward for fulfillment and to cultivate a sense of contentment and gratitude for the present moment. By breaking free from the need for external validation and approval, we build a stronger, more independent mind that finds peace from within rather than through comparison with others. The second habit is resisting change. Life is constantly in flux, and nothing stays the same forever. Yet many people struggle against this truth, trying to control or prevent change, which leads to suffering and mental exhaustion. In Buddhism, the concept of anicca, or impermanence, is central. By accepting that everything changes, you begin to flow with life instead of resisting it. This acceptance doesn't mean passivity. It means understanding that resisting what you cannot control only drains your energy. Embracing change with an open mind allows you to adapt and respond thoughtfully, strengthening your mental resilience. When you resist change, you create tension and frustration in your mind. This resistance stems from a desire for permanence and security, which, according to Buddhist teachings, is an illusion. The mind becomes caught up in wishing things could stay the same, which is an impossible expectation. This creates a cycle of disappointment, as life inevitably unfolds differently than we anticipate. Learning to accept change not only frees you from this cycle, but also teaches you to find stability within yourself rather than in the shifting circumstances around you. It's about building an internal sense of security that remains firm even when everything else is uncertain. Moreover, resisting change often leads to fear and anxiety about the future. We try to predict or control outcomes, worrying about what might happen if things don't go as planned. This constant anticipation of change creates a state of chronic stress, weakening the mind's ability to stay present and focused. Buddhist wisdom suggests that by accepting impermanence and the unpredictability of life, you can reduce this anxiety. When you let go of the need to control every detail, you allow yourself to live more freely in the moment, finding peace in the acceptance of life's natural ebb and flow. Additionally, by resisting change, you miss out on growth opportunities. Change, while often uncomfortable, is a powerful teacher. It challenges you to step out of your comfort zone, adapt, and grow. When you learn to embrace change as a chance for transformation rather than something to fear, you cultivate a stronger, more adaptable mind. You begin to see change not as a threat, but as a natural and necessary part of life's journey. This shift in perspective builds resilience as you understand that even difficult changes can lead to personal evolution and deeper wisdom. The third habit that weakens the mind is living in the past or worrying about the future. The mind often wanders, dragging us into past regrets or anxieties about what might happen next. This habit takes you away from the present moment, the only time where true peace can be found. Buddhism emphasizes mindfulness, the practice of being fully present. By focusing on the here and now, you reduce the mind's tendency to wander and worry, allowing you to respond to life with clarity and calm rather than fear and regret. Practicing mindfulness strengthens your mental presence and helps you stay centered, regardless of what life throws your way. Dwelling on the past can lead to a cycle of self-blame, guilt, or longing for things to be different. These thoughts trap you in a state of emotional turmoil, preventing you from moving forward. Similarly, constantly worrying about the future creates fear and anxiety as you try to predict outcomes that are beyond your control. This mental habit exhausts your energy as the mind is constantly fluctuating between what was and what might be, leaving little room for appreciating the present moment. The teachings of the Buddha encourage breaking free from this cycle by cultivating awareness of where your mind wanders and gently guiding it back to the present. Practicing mindfulness is a powerful antidote to this habit. It involves paying close attention to your breath, your body, and your surroundings, which anchors your mind to the present. This practice trains you to notice when your thoughts drift into past regrets or future worries and to bring your focus back to what's happening right now. By repeatedly practicing this, you strengthen your ability to remain present, which not only calms the mind, but also enhances your overall sense of well-being. You begin to experience the richness of each moment, realizing that life unfolds beautifully when you engage with it fully and consciously. Additionally, when you are not caught up in the past or the future, you gain the ability to respond to life's challenges with greater clarity and resilience. Instead of reacting out of fear or past conditioning, you approach situations with a fresh perspective, unburdened by emotional baggage. This shift allows you to make thoughtful, intentional choices, enhancing your capacity to cope with life's uncertainties. By focusing on the present, you empower yourself to navigate difficulties with a sense of peace and calm, making your mind stronger and more adaptable in the face of whatever may come. The fourth habit is negative self-talk. The Buddha taught that our thoughts shape our reality. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, that you're a failure, or that things will never improve, you create a mental environment of negativity that reinforces these beliefs. This type of thinking traps you in a cycle where every action is overshadowed by self-doubt, making it difficult to take positive steps forward. The mind becomes conditioned to expect the worst, leading to a pattern where you unconsciously sabotage your own growth and happiness. This habit not only weakens your mind, but also diminishes your self-esteem and resilience. Negative self-talk acts as a barrier that keeps you from recognizing your true potential. It can hold you back from taking risks or pursuing opportunities because you've already convinced yourself of failure before even trying. This habit is particularly harmful because it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you focus on your perceived flaws and inadequacies, the more you manifest outcomes that reinforce these beliefs. Over time, this diminishes your capacity for joy and growth, leaving you stuck in a state of dissatisfaction and unhappiness. Buddhism encourages the practice of right speech, which not only applies to how we communicate with others, but also extends to our inner dialogue. Being mindful of how you speak to yourself is essential for developing a healthier, more resilient mind. Transforming negative self-talk involves becoming aware of these patterns and replacing them with compassionate, empowering statements. For example, instead of saying, "I can't do this," you might say, "I'm learning and growing every day." This shift changes the mental landscape from one of doubt and fear to one of possibility and self-belief. Practicing positive affirmations and self-reflection helps to build a foundation of inner strength. When you speak to yourself with kindness and encouragement, you cultivate a supportive internal environment that nurtures growth. Over time, this practice becomes a powerful tool for resilience. You start to see challenges as opportunities rather than threats, and you develop the confidence to face life's difficulties with a calm and balanced mind. By shifting your inner dialogue, you not only strengthen your mental state, but also align with a more positive, empowered version of yourself, which ultimately enhances your overall well-being. The fifth habit is comparing yourself to others. In a world where we are constantly bombarded with images and stories of other people's successes, It's easy to fall into the trap of comparison. This habit often leads to feelings of inadequacy, jealousy, and a sense of failure, even when you've achieved significant milestones in your own life. The more you measure your worth against others, the more you disconnect from your own path and purpose. It creates a mindset where nothing feels good enough, as you constantly seek validation outside yourself, weakening your sense of self-worth and stability. Buddhism teaches the importance of focusing on your own path rather than measuring yourself against others. The Buddha emphasized that each person's journey is unique, and the only true measure of success is the progress you make on your own spiritual and personal development. When you compare yourself to others, you lose sight of your individuality and the distinct lessons and experiences meant for your growth. This comparison creates unnecessary suffering and pulls you away from the peace found in accepting your life as it is, with all its ups and downs. By practicing gratitude for what you have and recognizing your unique journey, you free yourself from the cycle of envy and dissatisfaction. Practicing gratitude shifts your perspective from what you lack to appreciating the blessings you already possess. It brings you back to the present moment, helping you realize that true happiness and fulfillment come from within, not from external comparisons. When you focus on your own progress, even small steps become meaningful achievements, building a sense of confidence and self-satisfaction. Additionally, this practice not only builds contentment, but also strengthens your ability to focus on your growth and happiness, rather than being distracted by others' achievements. Instead of feeling threatened or diminished by the success of others, you start to celebrate it as a reminder that there is enough abundance and opportunity for everyone. You cultivate a sense of inner security that allows you to genuinely be happy for others while remaining rooted in your own goals and aspirations. This mindset frees your mind from unnecessary worry, enabling you to channel your energy toward meaningful growth and self-improvement, ultimately leading to a more peaceful and fulfilling life. The sixth habit is living with resentment or holding grudges. When we hold on to anger or bitterness, we keep our minds trapped in a cycle of negative energy. This habit not only weakens the mind, but also harms our overall well-being. Resentment acts like a poison that affects your thoughts, emotions, and even your physical health. It weighs you down, keeping you stuck in the past and preventing you from experiencing peace in the present moment. The more you cling to these grudges, the more you allow negative emotions to control your mind, creating a state of inner turmoil that is difficult to escape. Buddhism emphasizes the practice of forgiveness, not as a way to excuse wrongdoings, but as a means to free yourself from the burden of anger. The Buddha taught that holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. In the end, it is you who gets burned. By choosing to forgive, you release yourself from the grip of these negative emotions and allow healing to take place. This does not mean forgetting what happened or condoning harmful actions. It simply means letting go of the emotional weight that keeps you from moving forward. Letting go of grudges helps you find peace within, preventing negativity from clouding your mind and giving you the clarity to move forward with compassion and wisdom. When you release resentment, you create space for understanding and empathy, both for yourself and others. You recognize that everyone, including yourself, makes mistakes and acts out of their own suffering or confusion. This perspective opens your heart, allowing you to cultivate a sense of compassion that not only heals old wounds, but also protects you from the cycle of negativity that grudges create. Moreover, practicing forgiveness doesn't just benefit your mind, it positively impacts your physical health as well. Studies have shown that holding on to anger and resentment can lead to stress-related issues such as high blood pressure and weakened immunity, By releasing these emotions, you lower your stress levels and promote overall well-being, both mentally and physically. This act of letting go becomes an empowering choice that liberates you from the chains of the past, enabling you to live with a clear mind and a heart open to new possibilities. The seventh habit is indulging in excessive desires. In Buddhism, desire is seen as a major cause of suffering because it creates a constant state of longing and restlessness. When we chase after pleasure, wealth, or status, we often believe that achieving these things will bring us lasting happiness. However, the reality is that these desires are never fully satisfied. Once one is fulfilled, another takes its place, leading to an endless cycle of craving and dissatisfaction. This pattern of constantly seeking fulfillment from external sources weakens the mind, as it becomes conditioned to chase fleeting pleasures rather than finding peace within. The Buddha taught the importance of right intention, a principle that encourages living with simplicity and moderation. By understanding the impermanent nature of material and sensory pleasures, you begin to see that they cannot provide lasting satisfaction. When you recognize the futility of excessive desires, you start to detach from them, focusing instead on what truly matters. This detachment doesn't mean rejecting all forms of pleasure, but rather approaching them with a balanced mind, appreciating them without becoming attached. This shift in perspective allows you to experience moments of joy without being bound by the need for more. By reducing your desires and cultivating contentment, you create space in your life for a deeper sense of fulfillment. This practice involves turning inward, exploring what truly brings you peace and happiness beyond material gains. When you let go of excessive craving, you free your mind from the constant state of agitation that desires create. This allows you to cultivate a sense of gratitude for what you already have, fostering a peaceful state of mind that isn't dependent on external achievements or possessions. This approach not only helps to build mental strength, but also enhances your overall well-being. When you are no longer controlled by the endless pursuit of fleeting pleasures, you can direct your energy toward more meaningful pursuits like personal growth, spiritual practice, and cultivating relationships that bring genuine happiness. By focusing on what brings lasting fulfillment, you develop a resilient mind, capable of staying balanced amidst life's temptations and distractions, ultimately leading to a more peaceful and purposeful life. The eighth habit is avoiding discomfort or seeking only pleasure. In modern society, we often prioritize comfort and pleasure above all else, avoiding anything that might cause discomfort or challenge us. Whether it's avoiding difficult conversations, staying in our comfort zones, or distracting ourselves with entertainment and indulgence, this habit ultimately weakens our minds. By constantly seeking pleasure and avoiding pain, we deny ourselves the opportunity to grow and build resilience. We become less equipped to handle life's inevitable difficulties and setbacks, leaving us vulnerable when things don't go our way. Buddhism teaches that life is inherently a mix of pleasant and unpleasant experiences. The Buddha emphasized that true strength comes not from avoiding these challenges, but from embracing them with an open and mindful approach. When you face discomfort, whether it's emotional, physical, or psychological, you have the opportunity to practice mindfulness and cultivate courage. By sitting with discomfort instead of fleeing from it, you learn to observe your reactions, detach from fear, and respond with clarity and calm. This practice trains the mind to become steady, allowing you to face challenges head-on without being overwhelmed by negative emotions. Mindful exposure to discomfort also fosters growth. By pushing through moments of unease, you build mental endurance and strengthen your ability to navigate life's difficulties with grace. For instance, when you face difficult emotions like fear, sadness, or frustration, Buddhism encourages you to observe these feelings without judgment. By doing so, you develop a deeper understanding of your inner self, uncovering the root causes of these emotions and learning to transform your response to them. This process not only builds resilience, but also provides a sense of empowerment, knowing that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. Furthermore, when you practice this approach regularly, you start to view discomfort as an opportunity for growth rather than a threat. Instead of seeking temporary pleasure as a means of escape, you become more willing to explore what lies beyond your comfort zone. You begin to see challenges as stepping stones to greater wisdom and understanding, rather than obstacles to be avoided. This shift in perspective transforms how you navigate life, helping you cultivate a balanced and resilient mind, capable of finding peace even in the midst of adversity. It shows that true strength is not about avoiding pain, but about facing it with equanimity, using every experience, pleasant or unpleasant, as an opportunity for growth. The ninth habit is overthinking, the mind's tendency to overanalyze situations, conversations, and possibilities often leads to a state of mental paralysis where you become trapped in endless cycles of worry and confusion. This habit drains your energy and prevents you from living fully in the present moment. Overthinking can make small issues seem overwhelming and magnify anxieties, ultimately creating stress and dissatisfaction. It's like running on a mental treadmill. No matter how much effort you put in, you remain stuck in the same place, exhausted and unfulfilled. Buddhism emphasizes the importance of simplicity and clarity of thought, recognizing that an unsettled mind is the source of much suffering. The Buddha taught the value of quieting the mind through mindfulness practices. When you learn to observe your thoughts without attaching to them, you begin to see them for what they are, just thoughts, not realities. By understanding this, you can start to break free from the pattern of overthinking, creating space for clarity and peace. Mindfulness helps you detach from the stories your mind creates, allowing you to respond to situations based on present reality rather than imagined fears or assumptions. Practicing mindfulness in daily life involves bringing your attention back to the present moment, especially when you catch yourself overthinking. For instance, instead of ruminating over a past event or worrying about the future, focus on your breath, the sensations in your body, or the sights and sounds around you. This shift in focus calms the mind and interrupts the cycle of overthinking, helping you to remain grounded. With consistent practice, you begin to notice a change in your mental patterns. You become more adept at recognizing when your mind starts to spiral, and you can bring yourself back to a place of calm and balance before anxiety takes over. Over time, this practice strengthens your mental resilience, allowing you to approach life's challenges with a clear and focused mind. You start to understand that clarity doesn't come from analyzing every detail, but from stepping back and seeing things as they are. By simplifying your thoughts and not getting lost in the noise of overthinking, you develop the ability to make decisions based on wisdom rather than fear or doubt. This shift helps you cultivate a sense of inner calm and stability, making it easier to navigate life's complexities without becoming overwhelmed. It shows that true strength lies in learning to let go of unnecessary thoughts, allowing your mind to settle into a state of clarity and peace. The 10th and final habit is relying on external validation. In a society where social media, career achievements, and public recognition often determine one's worth, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeking approval from others. We may find ourselves constantly trying to fit into societal norms, impress others, or gain validation through likes, compliments, or promotions. However, when you base your self-worth on the opinions or approval of others, you give away your power. You become vulnerable to the highs and lows of external feedback, making your sense of self unstable and dependent on circumstances beyond your control. Buddhism teaches that true happiness and strength come from within, emphasizing the importance of self-awareness and self-reliance. The Buddha taught that everything external is impermanent and unreliable, meaning that building your self-worth based on these temporary factors leads to a fragile and insecure state of mind. By turning inward and cultivating self-awareness, you begin to understand that your value does not come from what others think or say about you, but from your own intrinsic worth. This understanding allows you to break free from the constant need for external validation, empowering you to stand firm in your own principles and values. The practice of self-reflection is crucial in this process. By regularly examining your thoughts, actions, and intentions, you develop a deeper understanding of yourself, independent of others' opinions. You begin to ask questions like, am I acting in alignment with my values, or am I living authentically? When you validate yourself through your own integrity and actions, you build a foundation of self-respect and self-worth that is not easily shaken by external circumstances. This inner validation helps create a resilient mind that remains stable, even when you face criticism or disapproval from others. Moreover, self-reliance encourages you to cultivate inner peace and acceptance. When you no longer seek validation from outside sources, you stop comparing yourself to others and feeling inadequate. You learn to accept yourself as you are, with all your strengths and imperfections, understanding that your worth is not tied to anyone else's approval. This self-acceptance frees you from the anxiety of constantly seeking praise or recognition, allowing you to live with greater confidence and peace. As you strengthen this habit of self-validation, you become more self-sufficient, resilient, and capable of finding joy and contentment within yourself, regardless of external feedback or judgment. In summary, these 10 habits, when left unchecked, can significantly weaken your mind and impact your overall well-being. Constantly clinging to attachments, resisting change, living in the past, or worrying about the future are all patterns that drain your mental energy and keep you stuck in cycles of suffering. Similarly, negative self-talk, comparing yourself to others, and holding on to grudges only serve to reinforce feelings of inadequacy, jealousy, and anger, further weakening your mental state. Desiring external validation and avoiding discomfort may seem like easy paths in the short term, but they ultimately prevent you from developing the resilience needed to face life's challenges with grace. But with the guidance of Buddhist teachings, you can transform these habits into opportunities for growth and inner strength. By practicing mindfulness, you begin to recognize and observe these habits without attachment, creating space to make different choices. Cultivating detachment allows you to let go of attachments and expectations, freeing your mind from the burdens that lead to stress and anxiety. Embracing change helps you flow with life rather than resist it, building adaptability and mental resilience. Focusing on self-compassion, as taught through the practice of metta or loving kindness, shifts your mindset from self-criticism to self-acceptance, empowering you to develop inner strength and self-reliance. The path to mental strength is not about suppressing emotions or avoiding challenges. It's about developing the tools and wisdom to navigate life with a balanced and peaceful mind. By embracing the principles of non-attachment, right understanding, and equanimity, you create a foundation for a resilient mind that remains steady in any circumstance. You learn that emotions and external situations, while influential, do not have the power to control your peace of mind unless you allow them to. The journey is about gaining the clarity and insight to respond with wisdom, turning obstacles into opportunities for growth. Through Buddhist practice, you cultivate a mind that is not only resilient, but also filled with compassion, self-awareness, and a deep sense of inner peace.